Hello everyone, and welcome back to Guru TV. This week we're going to talk about putting. I've had several questions on, what is the best, most effective way to putt? And the age-old debate is, do we take the putter straight back, straight through, or should the putter have a little arc to it? So we're going to talk about that, and really I'm going to give you my views on what I think is the best, and really help to maybe clear up some misconceptions about some things that you're doing with your putting stroke and maybe even your setup. So I'm going to go through it all today, not just the arc, but also the other things that I feel are very important in putting. And I think it starts with setup and grip. So if you understand that putting is maybe just exactly the opposite of all the fundamentals that you talk about in full swing, right? So we use a different grip in putting. We stand a little differently. We're obviously much closer to the golf ball. These are some of the things that we're really going to talk about today on the Golf Guru Show. So let's start with the grip. And for those of you who watch a lot of golf on TV, which I'm sure if you're watching this video that you watch a lot of golf, you see a lot of different ways to grip the golf club and grip putting. So there's a couple of things that I think that are really important. One thing is you have to have the club more up into the palm of the hand and less in the fingers. Again, very much opposite of the full swing. So we want to have a situation where whatever grip you choose, and I'll talk about a couple of different ones, is we want the shaft of the golf club to match your forearms. So if you have the club too much in your fingers and you have the club visible out of the bottom of your forearm, that is going to create too much hand and wrist action. So that's the first thing. So you want the club up into the lifelines of your palms. So what used to be maybe 15 years ago the normal grip, which is the reverse overlap or the pistol grip, looks something like this, where the thumbs are on top of the flat spot of the grip, the index finger sits on the side, and the palms are basically facing each other. Now you have some varieties where maybe the left hand is on the low side, we have a cross-handed grip, and even now we have what's called the claw, which really takes a lot of the right hand out of it. So let's just stick with the couple of mainstay grips, which is the reverse overlap and or the reverse grip, which is what I tend to use. So that's number one, because the number one thing in good putting is being able to control the club face. Right? If your grip is too much in the fingers, or you're using maybe one of the biggest mistakes I see people do is they're using their full swing grip in their putting, is they tend to have too much rotation of the club face and or lofting or de-lofting of the club face as well. So that's number one. Number two is, how do we set up to the golf ball? Posture. All right, so as we set up to the ball, I'm very big on having the arms connected to the body. We've talked about this in a lot of the lessons. Of those of you that have seen me know that I do not like the arms and the elbows flying out, which a lot of people out there are teaching. So I want to make sure that you get a good understanding of how do we get into putting posture. And there's a nice little process that we go through, which is very simple. So once we have the grip, our arms are extended, feet apart comfortably. We're going to bring the elbows into the rib cage, and then what I'm going to do from there basically is I'm just going to go ahead and relax until I hit the ground. So now I've got the proper elbow flex, my hands are underneath my shoulders, and I'm bent over just the right amount, assuming that your putter fits you, and that's a whole nother show, by the way. So as I set up to the ball, you'll notice that I've got a lot of roundness or curvature in my spine. Once again, you do not have to stand with an erect spine in putting. We want to have a little relaxed here. I want to make sure that the back of my neck is parallel to the ground, which creates a perfect eye line where I'm looking over the ball. And that's the second thing, is we want to get our eyes directly over the golf ball. The ball position will be just a little bit forward, and my eyes are right over it. So you can see that I'm very much connected. I always tell everybody, if you believe that the stroke is driven by the shoulders, then we better have our arms connected to the shoulders, or it really makes no sense. So let's get into our setup. Let's talk about the path, right? And this is one of the age-old debates that we're having out there. Do we swing the putter straight back, straight through, or do we swing the putter a little bit more on an arc? I tend to be more in the arc camp. I feel like that because we stand to the left of the golf ball, we're still using a tool that has a little bit of a plane or an incline angle to it, that it's much easier to make the club swing on plane, which is going to create a little bit of an inside to square, back to the inside situation. So let's talk about straight back, straight through, and why I don't think it's very easy or very good way to do it. So I've got a board here that's going to set just outside my golf ball. So in order for me to swing the putter straight back, straight through, I have to tilt my shoulders very steeply in the takeaway. So you'll notice how my right shoulder gets very high and my left shoulder goes down. And that brings the putter off the ground significantly. So what that also does is it shuts the club face a little bit. Right? So those putters out there that you see that are more straight back, straight through, like maybe a Lauren Roberts, these guys putt with very much like a shut to open type deal. So it looks a little bit like this. See how I can't even keep it on the board? Back and through. Alright, great if you can do that. Here's what I find with my students that come back and they say, I'm trying to swing the putter in a straight line. The tendency is to swing the putter outside in. I see this more than anything else. Probably the number one putting error is the putter swinging outside in, which is going to cause you to cut across the golf ball. Very, very difficult way to putt, I believe. So let's talk about the best way that I think to do it, and that's an arc stroke. And I use what's called the putting arc. Great little training aid here that's been around for a few years. So we just set that up. Get it straight, and then we set up to the ball same way. We go through our setup, elbows in, over the ball, ball a little forward, lower body stays nice and still. That way when I rock my shoulders back and through, it allows my club to swing a little bit from the inside and through. It's a very natural motion that really is almost taken care of by the setup. Right? So if you tend to swing the putter outside in, you're going to do real well of getting more connected here and then really getting the club swinging a little bit more from the inside and controlling that face. So let's review. Number one, controlling the face. I don't care what grip you use, make sure you get the club up in the palms, make sure that the shaft of the club is matching your forearms. Number two, connection. Make sure that our arms and our elbows are more into our rib cage as we tilt over and getting ourselves over the ball and our eyes over the ball. And then number three, as we rock the shoulders back and through, we want to make sure that the club face stays square to the arc. Okay? Not square to the target line, but square to the arc. If you administer these few keys and setups, I know your putting is going to get a lot better. Alright, so we'll see you next time on Guru TV. Keep the questions coming. I appreciate everybody visiting my blog.